previous videos, we talked about the improvement plans. Normally, the improvement plans comes after the evaluations. There shall be a series of analysis in terms of the attainments of COs and the attainments of POs. On top of that, we will also need to evaluate the attainments of the program objectives. The improvement plans is not limited to the COs level. It can also be at the program level, such as the POs and PEOs. While working for these improvement plans, there are involvement of various parties, such as the course lecturer, CQI committee, head of program, and also the management of the institutions. Different parties have their own contributions in ensuring the sustainability of the program and continuous improvement of the program. My personal observations, very often improvement plan has been treated as a part of the documentations, which the impacts towards the improvements of the course and the programs are often limited. It is either not properly implemented or the impacts are not really being analyzed and monitored. When these tools are not really properly carried out, it is expectable that the OBE is not functioning. That's why a lot of lecturers do not actually believe in OBE. Throughout the modules here, we have mentioned about various aspects that OBE can go wrong. One of which, it will be the implementations of these improvement plans. Based on my personal observations, many lecturers still do not believe the impacts of the improvement plans. They are doing this as it is required as a part of the obligations of the lecturer without fully understanding the impacts and importance of having those. Their ultimate goal is to get the things closed and then the rest leave it to the CQI committee. You know that the CQI committee will have to rely on your data in order to help them to make quality decisions. If you continuously feed the CQI committee with the data which is not reliable, this will confuse the CQI committee, and at the end of the day, both you and the CQI committee cannot find the right directions how to improve your programs. All these are interrelated. Therefore, it would be good that if you have the similar understanding in terms of the OBE system as a whole, and also aware of the functions and the needs of the CQI committees. Remember, in the early of our module, we mentioned that many do not believe in outcome-based education, as there are so many cases that the OBE is not actually running. Now that you have gone through this module, you will get the answer. Why is OBE not running? Why is OBE a burden to you? This is especially when you compromise in terms of the implementations of the OBE and deviated from the focus and the rationales of the OBE. Other than that, there are a lot of debatable issues related to the improvement plans, as commonly being put into the argument by a lot of lecturers who do not really believe in OBE. Among the issues include, when come to the improvement plans, the target group, it will be another group of students. Let's say now you are offering a course, and based on the result of the students, you identify the weaknesses of the course, and then you propose improvement plans, and you're going to implement it in the following semester. Now the group of students has already passed the course. This group of students will not be taking this course anymore in future. Whoever going to take the course, it will be the next group of students. The argument was, when your improvement plan is proposed on basis of the previous group of students, it is as if that we pre-assume that the next group of students will have totally the same characteristic as the previous group of students. which normally, based on our experience, that may not be entirely true. Now, if you propose improvement plans based on the previous group of students, which you apply to another group of students, whether the improvement plan is effective or not, that will be questionable. In fact, this point is quite valid, as we cannot deny the data are from the previous group of students. But then, when it comes to the improvement plans, it is implemented to the next group of students. Nevertheless, this doesn't forfeit the right of having the improvement plans, as you will never get the data from the next group of students in any way. It is only when you have completed the respective course and done the assessment, you will have the final data of those students. Now, in the case that without the data from those students, some assumptions it will be inevitable. We'll have to come up with some mechanism as a reference or guide so that we can prevent the potential problems by the following group of students, which at the same time improve the course and the program. At least we are doing something, trying to improve the program. Up to this stage, the response to this argument here is still not convincing. This is especially when the lecturer are so obsessed about using the right improvement plans towards certain specific students. This will have to go back to our basic rules of having the improvement plans. Remember, we talked about looking for sustainable and long-term improvements of the program instead of semester by semester basis. This is the ultimate points of divergence in terms of the foundations of those pro-improvement plans and against the improvement plans. If you look detail into the arguments, there is a preconditions. The improvement plan will have to be specifically designated to the students who are providing the data. Now, on basis of this understanding, whatever improvement plans that you have provided, it will be very specific towards that particular students, and most likely it will end up to be semester by semester basis. This will lead to a lot of decisions and fine-tuning over different groups of students, and this is normally not achievable unless you have all the characteristic and behavior of the students before they have undertaken the course, or probably you need some extensive study of the students' behaviors before entering the program. This is much worse. I cannot imagine how this can be done. Therefore, when it comes to the improvement plans, our focus are not on the students, not really on the students' cohort. It doesn't matter that students change semester by semester, because our improvement plans are focusing on the course and the program. The course shall be offered every semester. The program will be the same program over the years. When we focus on how we improve the course and the program, and we go for the improvement plans, which likely going to go for a sustainable and long-term implications to the program, that should be the right way to do it. Otherwise, you have to always observe the changes in terms of the characteristic of the students and fine-tune how do you deliver your program. To me, this is too much, and it is not really manageable at the current stage, unless you have the big data information support of every single student before undertaking the course or the program. Second argument, what if the course is taken by different lecturers? You know, different lecturers have their strengths and weaknesses. They may have their preferred way to deliver the course, which can be unique from the others. This means that the improvement plans which is suitable for one lecturer may not necessarily suitable for another. In this case, we cannot enforce that all the lecturers will have to abide to the respective improvement plans, especially as defined by the previous lecturer. Yes, these arguments have some justification. We cannot deny that different lecturers have their own ways of delivery. Some may be very good in traditional method, but may end up to be disaster when it comes to the student-centered learning. Some may be in the otherwise. Again, this have to go back to how we design the improvement plans. First, the focus is still on the course and the program. We don't really mind that who is undertaking the course. We are looking into the operation system, which should be well calibrated to accommodate the lecturers of different characteristics. Now when it comes to the improvement plans, always go for sustainable and long-term improvements. Try not to be too custom-made towards the characteristic of the lecturers. For example, as a CQI for the poor presentation skills, the program has imposed that every course will have presentations. This is regardless who is teaching the course, which course is being taught, and who are the students. If you can find any improvement plans that can disregard all those, that should be good improvement plans. Instead of very specifically custom-made towards the preference of characteristic of certain lecturer, we can look into this matter at the CQI committee and head of the program levels. You may ask your head of program or CQI committee, do they really mind that who is teaching which course when they have several lecturers have the capacity to teach the same course? It doesn't matter who is teaching the course. What is matter now is how do we identify the weaknesses? How can we make the system more established, well optimized, and more impactful? They are looking into the quality of the course and the program as a whole, not really discrete towards the students and the lecturers. So as a lecturer teaching the course, you have to think from their perspective as well. Next is about different delivery methods and the assessment strategies. Certain improvement plan may be suitable for certain delivery methods and certain assessment strategies. Again, same principles here. When it comes to the improvement plans, you can plan to improve your delivery methods. You may also plan to refine or revise your assessment. This can be one way of improvements. Now your improvement plan can also be more general based. For example, you review your rubric assessment. Remember previously we mentioned about the limitations of the rubrics. Try to overcome those limitations. Or if you realize that the problems of the rubrics that you have been using it in your course, there are some misalignment, then you can fine-tune those. Ultimately, this is going to lead to you better qualities of the assessment. It doesn't mean that you will need to avoid any improvement plans related to the delivery methods and also the assessment strategy. Now you have to be selective. Go for something which you feel that the chances of using it or the lifespan of using it is going to be relatively longer, which ultimately is going to be an asset to your course. Then you may go for the improvement plans. Just now we mentioned about the assessment rubrics. Normally it starts with a simplified version, and the first version is normally based on what is assumed. After you've done the assessment, you may review your rubrics, whether it fully reflects the actual situation. Then you can fine-tune it. It is until the rubrics is well established, you're going to use it over and over again in the following semesters. Ultimately, these rubrics become the asset of the course. Once you have established your rubrics, then you may seek for other areas of improvements and go for something that more long-lasting and those that can be accessed to the course and the program. These are the principles for the improvement plans. First, inevitably, there are always varieties. This can be due to different group of students, different lecturers handling the course or the program, even different persons managing the program or the CQI committee. Now we will look into the problems which is more likely to be common out of those varieties. And then you develop the improvement plans, assuming that those problems will be similar regardless the varieties. You know CQI is a trial and error process. There is nothing wrong that when your improvement plan doesn't end up to be what is anticipated. Your proposed improvement plans is just something that you believe that could work, and therefore you give it a try. Whichever the outcome it is, whether it is successful or not successful, it doesn't matter. You don't have to manipulate the results. Let's say now it is not successful, then you know that this kind of improvement plans or something similar may not work. Then you can seek for other improvement plans. Let's say now it is successful, that would be good, and you hope to maintain that. Keep it as the asset for the program and the course. Continue implement it and pull out the quality of the course and the program as a whole. You need to know that a program will not improve overnight, and the improvement may not necessarily be due to one or two improvement plans. The quality of the program and the course will only improve due to the collective contributions of various improvement plans. Because it involves so many uncertainty and various aspects, this leads to the complexity in order to improve the program. It is unless you can work out and figure out everything confronting that levels of complexity, which normally we cannot do that. That's why we break down this to manageable levels, focusing on one or two problems, proposing one or two improvement plans, do it properly, analyze it properly, and if it is effective, or if it gives indications of the positive improvement, we would like to keep it and then seek for other improvement plans. Whichever identify not workable, not effective, we shall remove and replace with something that having higher chances of bringing positive inputs to the course and the program. Over time, you will have collective of various improvement plans implementing a lot of good characteristics. Good operating system shall ultimately lead to better quality course and the program. We are not seeing this at the levels of the lecturer. We are seeing this at the levels of the program as well as the course, which is slightly higher level towards the level of CQI committee and also the head of the program. Another important principles of the improvement plan is that the historical data plays an important role in CQI. You know the historical data, it will function well when it is collective, which cannot be easily achieved over one or two semesters. The longer durations you apply it, you have more data, and this allows you to make good decisions in improving the course and the program. You will have to exchange this quality of decisions by using the time used to collect the data. It is possible for you to reduce the durations. It is especially when the data that you acquire are really good data, reliable, and accurately reflect the actual situation. If you mix those historical data with some bad data, this is going to lead to bias and confusions when it comes to making the decisions. In this case, you will need longer time and more data for you to finally acquire the true conditions of the course and the program. Now, why do we need to do that in the first place? If you do everything right, you can save a lot of time here. This brings to our next point. that many lecturers may not actually know that. As the CQI committee, they don't really mind that if you feed them with poor data. Because as long as you are operating within the system, ultimately they will gather sufficient data, and if they can analyze the data properly, ultimately they can still bring to good decisions. Only that the durations for them to achieve that, it will be longer. This is especially when the lecturers have low awareness of the OBE and how to do the improvement plans. When the culture is not there, the ultimate goal of the CQI committee, it will be having the culture in place. At that stage, when the focus are more towards the cultivating the culture, the CQI committee will accept anything as proposed by the lecturer. They only need to educate the lecturers how to make really explicit, specific, measurable and achievable improvement plans. Normally, the first step of the CQI committee, it will be having the culture in place. They will accept everything as long as it is written in the right manner. And then they will look into and encourage the lecturers to implement those. Over the times, once the lecturers are familiar with the entire system, then it will be converted into the next phase, really seeking into sustainable and long-term solutions. If the CQI can get all the lecturers to cooperate well, improving the quality of the course and the program will take shorter time. Otherwise, longer time shall be required. No matter what, the historical data should be fully utilized and appropriately analyzed. Don't be disheartened, especially at the initial stage of implementing the OBE, especially when it seems that you are going nowhere. You don't really see much impact of the CQI at the early stage. This is mainly because the good characteristic of quality, course and the program has not been collectively achieved yet. Once you have more good characteristic of the quality, course and the program, then you will see the greater impacts for your improvement plans at the later stage. And when you see the CQI committee having sufficient good historical data, now the decisions made, it will be more precise, more likely to hit the purpose of the improvements. Then the CQI become more effective after numerous trials.